think a lot of our young men have really stunted growth. I think the women are being harmed by hip hop with all the sexuality. I think that the fact that Cardi B is kind of like this role model for a lot of young women is very scary, or Sexy Red, or whatever it is. I mean, that's saying, well, buddy, you're gonna have an interesting life, right? It's gonna be full of like heartbreak and STDs and baby daddy problems and trauma, but whatever. Please proceed. Good luck to you. Don't listen to me. I'm just an old man. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I think for the guys, the economic immaturity, I think, comes from the fact that they're so heavily influenced by hip hop culture, which I think links actually back to the missing father. Like most men who have a strong father, if you ask them like who's your greatest male role model, they'll talk about their dad. A lot of men who didn't have the father in the house or a strong father, they might look at some hip hop artists for guidelines on masculinity, because manhood is not something that you just naturally know. Men are interesting. Men can be mean and rough and tough, and if you don't have a guy that kind of schools you on it and helps you understand it, it's very hard to figure it out. So a lot of the masculine images presented to the young boys are athletes and hip hop artists. And so if you look at some of the behavior makes absolutely no sense. It's a very, what's the real tragedy behind it too is that when you have a culture that makes things like murdering somebody not a big deal, like he made me mad, so I pulled out the switches on him or whatever. Um, that's sad to me because they don't learn the fallacy of that approach to life until they have gotten that 60-year prison sentence. So now they got 60 years to think about the things they did when they were 17 years old. And I think that that's horrible. To me, that is hell. That's the closest thing to a living hell imaginable is when you're, 50 years old and you've been in prison since you were 18 because somebody didn't help you understand the gravity of pulling out a gun and killing somebody, right? But think about it. They talk about murdering black people like it ain't nothing. It's just almost like a joke in a way, or like, oh, somebody stepped on your shoe. Of course you got to pull out your gun and shoot him. Which only a teenager who hasn't seen the horrors of prison rape, and all these other things. Only a teenager who hasn't been educated would even think that that makes sense. But if you look at how many young people think this way, it's tragic, and it's very costly to the community overall. And let's circle it back to your economics. It kills your economics because men are the primary. Men have a natural deposit of testosterone, which leads them to have the ability to go out and become the hunter, gatherer, provider, protectors that a family needs. Women can do great things, and women have evolved and adapted. Nobody's stronger than black women, but a lot of black women that are strong don't even want to be that strong. They don't want to have to be as strong as men, but they could be, which is great, but they don't a lot don't want to be. They're exhausted by it. And so what happened? Well, because a lot of your strongest, most capable men are in prison, or they're hamstrung by mistakes they made when they were young because they got inappropriate guides to masculinity. So that's why there's one guy, the guy with he has that big old beard, Mr. Jason something, Jason Wilson or Jason. I can't remember his name, but I like him. I like him. He'll do videos and he'll say he'll speak real. He speaks real appropriately because he's more articulate than I am, and he'll speak about issues of masculinity that I think are appropriate. I think that men need to hear those sorts of things. And really, this guide is essential because you don't get that from the you don't get this from the school system because as a little black boy, I remember I would go to school and most of my teachers were white women from the suburbs. They don't know nothing about being a black man, and they think that that their worldview as a woman is natural to me. It was not natural to me.